a couple of the guys that we do have visiting. And first off, I did want to say Isaiah World, the offensive tackle, he's going to be visiting Oregon. Now, Isaiah World he's a monster, right? 6'8", just kind of has an insane size and frame in a position that Nebraska really, really needs at that offensive line position to bolster down. But, he's got the big size, strong frame, but he's also pretty athletic. Fluid movement, just kind of is able to, duo and get to the second level if need be. Good footwork. He's pretty quick for his overall size. Can get on the edge rushers and really has the long arms to be able to kind of get his punch out and be able to meet those guys at the edge instead of letting them get into him. But he's just a very aggressive type of lineman. Think of like that Micah Mazuka mentality. He just wants to go out there and he wants to lay his hands on you. He wants to block you. He wants to be aggressive. He wants to attack your leverage. So really, really high ceiling with him at Oregon right now. Oregon is going to be a tough one to beat. We know Oregon has that Nike money. So of course, always a tough position to beat those guys there. But Nebraska is in its top three with Oregon and A&M. And, we really need kind of that edge protection really, for Raiola, especially because, a lot of times too much pressure was coming off the edge. Or that those edge rushers will get out and, too far wide, and our tackles will get out too far wide, and then the stunt would just be able to come right through the middle. We need a guy like Isaiah World to be able to establish the run, get that push that we didn't have consistently throughout last year, get a really good push and open these lanes up. But and Raiola, when he gets his hands on him, hopefully he can, develop him like he has a lot of these other guys. But just all the potential in the world. He would be a huge, huge get for Nebraska and somebody we really, really need. So really hoping we can land him. Now, again, he's visiting Oregon, so we'll see how that goes. I'll talk a little bit more about – let me talk about Eric Rivers real quick. Eric Rivers is one of those wide receivers that visited and very high on. Eric Rivers – most receiving yards in FIU history, which is FIU. It doesn't seem like much, but until you realize FIU had T.Y. Hilton, so he's just a playmaker in every sense of the word, but he's a hot commodity in the portal. He's got Miami, December 13th to the 14th. I got it written down right here. Miami, December 13th and 14th. He went there. Now, one of the things I will say, he after the Miami visit, they asked him about the Miami visit, and they asked him about the quarterback situation because Nebraska's established at the quarterback situation. He's also visited are going to be visiting Penn State, Colorado, but the Miami quarterback situation's up in the air. And so one of the things he did say is he doesn't have time to sit back and wait too long to kind of see how that's going to play out because he's got 1 year left to play. So Miami's kind of a little bit hamstrung in regards to that aspect of it. Just kind of seeing where he's going to go and the fact that he's going to have to make a decision before too long. And Miami kind of really doesn't know where they're going to go at the quarterback position. So that is one built-in advantage Nebraska does have. Now he's visiting Penn State December 19th and 20th, Colorado the 21st and the 22nd. So again, he's waiting to see how that Miami quarterback situation plays out as he goes through these next visits. But is a guy that Nebraska could really, really use in this. And the visit overall for Nebraska went well. Like I said, he right now they're higher than Miami is just because of the Miami quarterback situation. And the quarterback position is very important to him. So having Raiola really, really helps there as well. So let me dive a little bit more into some of the other visitors here. Let me look into your comments just a little bit more so I can keep up with them. NCAA is the worst organization in America, which is saying a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of alphabet organizations in America that suck. AJ Pena. So AJ Pena is another guy. I broke him down a little bit here, but he's from Rhode Island, outside linebacker, kind of one of those hybrid outside linebacker type of guys. Let me get this comment off my screen real quick. One of those hybrid outside linebacker type of guys, 6'2", 243, okay? And just a little rundown of some of his numbers here. He was second all-time in career TFLs with 42 at Rhode Island, and sacks of 26 and a half. He's a true junior, started all 13 games last season, forced the opposition to lose more than 100 yards with 22 AFLs and 12 sacks. 33 sacks total as a team that he helped them get to, and he had 12 of those. They're 25th in the country in that category, and 20th in team tackles for loss, where he had the majority of those, and made the team as a sophomore in 2023. So he is a guy that can really, really come down and be able to get on the edge and kind of bring that, it's 6'2", 243. He's got that size to him that you really, really like in a Big Ten linebacker. Nebraska has some smaller linebackers as well. But yeah, so up in the air with Pena. Not 100% sure if he was on the list of confirmed visitors yet, but somebody I did want to talk about just in case. Gabe Moore, he is visiting Mississippi State, D lineman, 6'4", 290. So a little bit of breakdown that I had on Gabe Moore here. Let me pull this up, or Gabriel Moore, whichever one you want to call it, Gabriel, but he's listed Gabriel and on 3, Gabe at most other places. So, but yeah, 6'4", 290, 3-star recruit in the 2023 class. He got some experience last year, but very, very young. Will be another good defensive line depth piece here, just to see what, he can do when he gets onto campus. But more, he's just very physical, imposing, just a big guy, strong guy, and somebody that I think Nebraska will use kind of as a project to develop a little bit more. But I do think, year 2 or 3, he could probably stand to get on the field in pretty good aspect. He was in the SEC, so did a good experience over there in the SEC in a big time conference. So, all right, let me see if I can catch up with y'all's comments here. Where am I at? I'm not predicting the win. I'm pulling for Clemson just because I think it would be the funniest outcome on the table. I don't see Clemson winning, but it would be funny for sure. Looks like we're going after production over talent. Yes, that's Matt Rule's mainstay. He's always a production over talent type of guy. He says you can get better. There's a ceiling on athleticism, but you get better football by playing football. And so he likes these guys who, kind of in the recruiting classes, kind of show that athleticism, that ability to, really kind of, they're super athletic, but they're really able to kind of be transitioned in terms of their skill once they get to campus and develop into something. But in the portal right now, you got to go with production, because, you look at what Kurt Signetti did last year. That's what he did in the portal last year. And with limited spaces, you can't just fill these roster spots up with guys who are just developmental guys. You got to have guys who are going to come in and be able to potentially produce immediately for sure. Thinking Nyziah Hunter and Eric Rivers. Let me dive a little bit more into them. So I talked about Eric Rivers a little bit. So Nyziah Hunter, I just want to give an update on him. Hopefully I'm saying his name right too, but Nebraska looking really good in terms of landing him. So his 2 he's down to is Nebraska and K-State. So I do like where we sit there. He's visiting Kansas State on Friday. I did see earlier that Utah's also targeting him, but nothing really there, at least that have been talked about in terms of, him scheduling a visit over there or anything. But Nyziah Hunter is Eric Rivers is going to be the kind of guy that's going to come in and be that speedster, and just kind of he does play big for his size, but Nyziah Hunter, he's 6'1", 170. Let me get my notes here. 6'1", 170. So just some of the stuff that I kind of broke down when watching his stuff. He looks like overall he's pretty good with his route running. Good at creating separation. I seen him kind of break away from man coverage in a lot of instances. So he's really sharp in terms of his feet and his footwork, which Nebraska does, could use guys that are really good at getting separation. It was something we struggled with last year in Satterfield's offense, but of course, with Dana Holgerson's air raid offense, it kind of opens up that, it kind of schemes up that separation a little bit better. So if you got guys who can go out there and get that separation themselves, that adds an extra element to that offense as well. He's fast. His acceleration's good. So he's a guy who can, kind of be a deep ball guy. 6'1", like I said, plays bigger than his actual size indicates. Got pretty good hands, strong hands, but excellent body control. That's one of the things I do notice. So even at 6'1", you see him go out and get some contested catches on the film, actually. So, but it's a guy who you can, similar to Jalen Lloyd, get the ball in his hands, short yardage and let him operate, get him in space, let him work. He's good in terms of against zone coverage. He's good at kind of finding some soft spots in the zone, but really where you see him at his best is just, put the ball in his hands and let him work, or getting deep down the field. So it's one of those things Nebraska could use, that yards after catch ability that we didn't see throughout the season. Also struggling with separation, make Dylan Raiola's life a whole lot easier. But these playmakers like this and that spread them out style of offense that uses these quick throws to really just get guys, it's really getting Raiola in timing. It's really kind of getting the ball in his hands, out of his hands quickly, and get him in a rhythm. And, taking what the defense gives you. If you got some playmakers that you trust to be able to go out there and make some guys miss and make a play, get the ball out of his hands quickly, quick throws, and just let him work, and then that spreading the field out means he can operate in more space as well. So makes life a lot easier, on everybody. It's kind of this, it's very much a unit in terms of how they operate this offense. So, he's kind of, he's not going to be your taller possession receiver, but, not just kind of a speedster. He's a little bit more versatile. But yeah, he's going to be able to do great things. So he will be a huge get. He's one of my top guys that I think we should land in the portal. So very excited about him. So I'm happy you asked about him. I did have some breakdowns on him as well. Let's see. Glad you stopped by. Yeah, I appreciate you stopping by, man. Williams Winery is a Chase Young upside if he puts it all together. Same recruiter's prestige out of high school. It's a long time. Yeah. And one of the things that people, when talking about his production over at Missouri or, this, that, and the third, you talk about, coach like Jamar Mosey. And I did a full video on Jamar Mosey. A lot of people were focusing on what Isaiah, Jamar because of Isaiah. And I wanted to focus more on Jamar. Jamar won the NAIA 23-24 Coach of Character Award. Somebody left a comment on that video talking about how Jamar, found a kid, in the cafeteria and turned him into a high-level recruit. He turned that place around, turned that, school into a winner, at Lee Summit, and kept them there for a long time, 10 years. I think he was there. And most of his losses were early on in that. But not only that, it was what he did for the rest of the athletic department. It wasn't just the football program. Like, he was there to lift up the entirety of the athletic department. And, them talking about Missouri and, like he was, bad issues there, character issues or effort. Well, one of the reasons that could be is the staff. What if he doesn't get along with that staff, or what if that staff doesn't really bring that out of him? Well, what's the solution for that? Go to the guy who made him a 5-star, athlete. He's got 4 years left to play. And so you pair him back up with his high school coach and mentor, and somebody that can really, keep his head straight and really, help him stay focused on what he needs to do. Somebody who knows the culture of Nebraska football, like Jamar, already, and be able to kind of instill that in him. And leadership is something Jamar is excellent at. And it's one of the things that you hear most when you watch videos of him or anything like that, is his leadership. So, Williams Winery does, if anybody's using last year against him, I don't think that's fair. But I think you're right there. And a lot of people are going to fight you on that, but I don't think a lot of people are thinking about it, beyond the surface of what they see in the numbers and what they hear from Missouri fans and stuff like that. So, I'm always proud. Only way to know what's going on. Buddha will make Husker Nation proud. Buddha, we got another one after Javen Wright. So nice that we can continue to use that. Left school early for a reason. Happy for Dante, but I appreciate you pointing that out too. I'm probably going to do I'll do a full breakdown video eventually on him. So, make it, I apologize, spell wrong. More of a burner, a power back. Would Ja'Cory be wide receiver 1 with Eric Rivers and Hunter? Honestly, the way this offense is going to operate, I don't think there is going to be a wide receiver one. Like it's going to be one of those offenses where it's everybody has got a shot at the ball. It's a spread them out type of thing. We're going to target guys that are open, and it's simple as that. You'll have your X, you'll have your Y as normal. But I think there's going to be it's going to be getting all these guys targets, because, we don't want to focus on one more than the other. Just kind of get these guys all targets, get them spread out around the field, get the ball in their hands.